In the headlines, government formally launches the Climate Resilience Executing Agency of Dominica, CRED. Primary Healthcare Director says NCD test results from public servants are worrying. And Dominica is the third Caribbean country to sign on to the International Solar Agreement Framework. I am Andrea Louis with the Channel 5 News. Back with the details after this.
There are signs everywhere. Pay attention whether you're male or female. Visit your health center to get screened. It's a preliminary test to determine if you are exposed to the HIV virus, an STI, or tuberculosis. Some people who are HIV positive also have tuberculosis. But there's hope. Tuberculosis can be cured. And yes, you can live a full life with HIV. Talk to your doctor. Be responsible. Help stop the spread of TB, HIV. Encourage everyone to get tested.
Thank you for staying with us. First up, 6 months after Hurricane Maria devastated the country, government has formally launched the agency which will oversee a lot of Dominica's rebuilding efforts. Julian Morris has more on Friday's launching of the Climate Resilience Executing Agency of Dominica, CRED.
Friday afternoon signing ceremony essentially gave government the green light to put this new agency, the Climate Resilience Executing Agency, CRED, into effect. Present at the ceremony were representatives of the World Bank, the UNDP, and the governments of the UK and Canada. Mr. Skerritt noted that time was not on our side, with rising sea levels and temperatures and another hurricane season around the corner. And as he put it, we need good strategy, good execution, and constant learning and listening.
Today, we signed the establishment of CRED and the start of the transition from inception to a fully fledged statutory body within 3 months. Chairing CRED's Transition Committee is the Honorable Minister for Foreign Affairs, Francine Barron. She is ably supported by the Secretary to the Cabinet, Ambassador Steve Farrell, Financial Secretary, Mrs. Rosamond Edwards, Permanent Secretary, Mrs. Gloria Joseph, Ambassador Edward Lambert, and Special Economic Advisor, Professor Avinash Prasad. I expect nothing but the best from that team. Today, we show a commitment to moving as fast as we can while trying to get it right, to get the legislation right, to get the governance right, the plans right, and the leadership right.
The Prime Minister acknowledged the role played by the UK government and people, calling it exceptional. The UK helped with the development of CRED's framework and is pledging millions of pounds to Dominica's climate resilient efforts over the next 5 years.
And we are ready to back this vision with funding. Over the next few years, the UK will provide over £65 million in assistance to support Dominica to do just that. We have recently announced £25 million of new funding to rebuild and strengthen the water system across the island so that in the event of a future hurricane, the supply of drinking water will either continue or can be quickly re-established.
The Government of Canada is also playing a key role in formulating the legislation for the CRED. Mr. Skerritt said these donors have all gone beyond the call of duty.
Humanity's finest moments are often born from deep tragedies. We honor the tragedy, who and what was lost. Here today, we also honor what was found, and we need to pursue this mission. I say to you, our partners, and I also reiterate to the citizens and residents of this country, that we do not have any other choice but to pursue that vision and that mission. Climate change is real, and we have to take all of the necessary human actions to first mitigate against it, but also to be more resilient in the event that we're visited by another such tragedy. And we must commit ourselves to this ideal, to ensure that we have a safer Dominica, and I dare say a safer region for the succeeding generations. We're doing this for our children and grandchildren.
The CREED will initially operate from the Prime Minister's office until it becomes a statutory body.
On to matters of health. The Ministry of Health is expressing concern over the well-being of public servants as there is a disturbing number of individuals at high risk of developing chronic non-communicable diseases. A health awareness campaign for public officers took place in the Surgical Mobile Medical Unit, which was donated to government in February. At that handing over ceremony, it was announced that a health campaign for public servants who have been working around the clock since Hurricane Maria would get underway later in the month. Director of Primary Healthcare, Dr. Laura Esprit, says the results from this week-long campaign are worrisome.
In terms of random blood sugar, we noticed and we used the normal value of capturing persons who had blood sugars more than 110 milligrams per deciliter. And what we noticed is that 36% of the persons who participated in the week had elevated blood sugars. And that is significant. In addition to blood pressures, the range that we used for the analysis bit of it is more than 120 on 80 millimeters per mercury, and we had an approximation of 21% of total participants having elevated blood pressures. When we did the height, weight, BMI, etc., we noticed quite a bit of persons who were overweight and obese and presented with moderate to high risk of developing chronic diseases. In addition to persons who appeared healthy, had elevated blood pressures and blood sugars, but significantly elevated that we had to give them IV medication.
Dr. Esprit implored public servants to be more mindful of their health and well-being as they are part of the productive arm of the country.
We need to stop and pay attention to ourselves. The public service is part of the productive arm of this country. And if we have the 20 to 30% of persons who presented in this campaign alone having elevated blood pressures and blood sugars, that means something is wrong. Are we caring for ourselves? If we don't care for ourselves, then we can't work, we can't be productive, we can't take care of our families, and we can't help Dominica to recover from what we just had, which is a Category 5 hurricane. So you see, really and truly, there is a thing that says health is our responsibility.
Over 400 public servants were seen during the health campaign, which ran from 19th to 23rd February under the theme, Fighting NCDs One Ministry at a Time. In other top stories, Dominica has become the third Caribbean country to sign on to the International Solar Agreement Framework. The ISA is a common platform for cooperation among sun-rich countries who are seeking to massively ramp up solar energy, thereby helping to reduce greenhouse gas emission while providing clean and cheap energy. Minister for Foreign Affairs Francine Barron said that Dominica's exploration of other forms of renewable energy is in keeping with the government's aim to cut back on the high dependence of fossil fuels.
In seeking to reduce our dependence on high-cost fossil fuels, we have always supported the idea of focusing on a viable mix of clean energy sources, hydro, geothermal, and solar. Through our membership of the International Solar Alliance, we expect that we will make progress with the appropriate exploitation of solar energy. Dominica stands to benefit from the resources and contribution of ISA in developing our solar energy resources in a systematic and organized manner. It can support our efforts to establish solar streetlights around the country, advise on productive solar applications in agriculture for increasing farmers' income, help in the design and implementation of solar systems to power our water systems in remote areas, among other things. There is potential with this being part of the Solar Alliance for us to look at areas where we can develop solar systems that can benefit us in the event that we are hit by another such storm.
India's High Commissioner to Dominica, Bishwadip Dey, says Dominica's signing on to this agreement is in keeping with the country's goal to become the first climate-resilient nation in the world.
The Prime Minister of Dominica has been one of the crusaders against the climate change, and the resolve to fight that is again signified by the signing of the agreement. We in India and also in the French government have taken this initiative, and we feel this is very timely. And for Commonwealth of Dominica, definitely solar energy would go a long way to not only make self-sustained effort to fight the climate change, but also bring in changes in the day-to-day life of people. Apart from that, I definitely respect and appreciate the resilience that the people of Dominica have shown post Hurricane Maria. And on behalf of Government of India and people of India, I can assure you that we stand with you in your reconstruction efforts and to fight climate change and any other eventuality which will follow. In case any help is required, we would be there to best of our ability.
A total of 46 countries have signed on to the ISA thus far. Moving on to the fishing sector, the National Association of Fisherfolk Cooperatives is taking steps to get more women involved in the fishing industry. President of NAFCOOP, Earl George, told Channel 5 News that women play a vital role in ensuring the success of the fishing industry through vending the fish product. However, they are being encouraged to take a more hands-on approach to the business. George revealed that NAFCOOP is taking steps to get women fisherfolk to form an association, as they can then gain financial and technical support from international donors.
When the men go out there and they get the catch, when they come on land with the catch, it's the women who actually make sure that the fish are safe, and they are the one who actually make the fish products. They are the one who sells it to the market. And to have a woman going out there and bringing it on land, it is very important. I'm just doing some preliminary investigation groundwork and see how we can form an association. And I'm also writing to the PS, Mr. Thomas and the Ministry of Agriculture for assistance in that line. I've spoken to some of the stakeholders already about it. I've spoken to the tourism department. I've already spoken to the cooperative division. Ms. Canaville is assisting very well, Marriott Canaville, and we'll try our best to see how we can get this organization on its foot. The donors, when they really approach to give donation, they give it to groups and not individuals. So if you work as a group, you know, you'll be able to get more assistance in fishing. So I'm encouraging all fisher folks, that is, to join a cooperative, you know, join a group, join an association, so that you can move forward, be able to see your business better.
George was speaking at a small function to donate equipment to fisherwoman Joanna Edmond of Layu. George also stressed that safety at sea is key for fisherfolk.
Last month we had 2 fishermen who got lost at sea, and I can assure you, if they have the necessary safety gears and equipments, we'll be able to find them, or they would find themselves back home. So I'm just starting a process, and letting people know that they need to have their safety gears when they are going out at sea.
Layu fisherwoman Joanna Edmond, who was featured in a Caribbean Network of Fisherfolk Organization article for International Women's Day, has been fishing for 8 years and suffered some damage to her equipment from Hurricane Maria. She says this donation by NAFCOOP will help her increase her level of fishing.
It's going to help us with our safety, so it will bring us a long way. Okay. My boyfriend is a fisherman, and fishing is kind of an adventure, because waiting to see what you're going to pull up on your line, it just fill with anticipation. We'd like to fish a little bit more and just increase our production. The reason why plenty of women not fishing is because they get seasick, but if you can get over that, you'll be all right.
Currently, there are approximately 10 women fisherfolk on island. The indigenous NBD celebrates a significant milestone in its development. That and more after the break.
M&J Covering is the producer of designed galvanized and galvalume in Dominica. They design to your specifications, color and length, 4 styles of galvanized and galvalume pre-painted roofing sheets as requested, and supply all your galvalume accessories. M&J Covering helps you control spending and reduce waste. At M&J Covering, they are also equipped to build your roof to precise standards anywhere on island. So come to M&J Covering at 1 Mile in Portsmouth or call 445-5001 275-5003 today.
Do you need more cash for that home improvement? Then come to Fast Cash, where we give you more. At Fast Cash, our customers get more funds and more time to repay. But wait, can't come to us? We'll come to you, and our mobile officer will get you on your way. Small businesses, consumers, and taxi owners, Fast Cash has more for everyone. Simply call or visit any of our locations for more. Smarter, faster, better. Fast Cash. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back. A news conference scheduled for next week will signal the start of activities to mark the National Bank's 40th anniversary. Here again is Julian Morris.
The NBD started operations here in March 1978 as the National Commercial and Development Bank. Since then, it has grown into the largest commercial bank on the island. The series of activities marking the NBD's 4 decades of service to Dominica will continue until December.
On Monday, we will be launching our anniversary program with a press conference. And on Tuesday, we'll be having a Thanksgiving Mass at the Fatima Church in Newtown at 4 p.m. And we're encouraging members of the public who would like to join us to please do so. For the rest of the week, which is our anniversary week, next week, we will be having several activities for customers and for staff, so that we can show our gratitude to them for making NBD their bank of choice.
The National Bank turned over its developmental role to the Aid Bank and privatized its holdings, becoming the National Bank of Dominica Limited in December 2003. NBD is currently a household name to Dominicans here and overseas.
And the recipient of the 2018 Exceptional Woman Award is pledging to redouble her efforts to help women in unfortunate situations.
The Bureau of Gender Affairs presented the award to the Director of Lifeline Ministries, Tina Alexander, on Thursday. She was selected by the Dominica National Gender Advisory Committee. Alexander said she was receiving the honor on behalf of women injured in domestic violence situations and children who are abused, introduced to sex way too early. She says the award was for her work with teenagers who become mothers while they are still children, and people who saw things in shelters they should never have seen.
The work continues, my friends, and we won't be quiet. We will stand up and we will speak out for those people who haven't got the courage to do anything about their situation because they're frightened, because they're damaged, because they haven't got anywhere to go. So we won't be quiet. We'll continue to stand. We'll continue to speak out.
Alexander spent 10 years specializing in child protection and mental health and says her passion is for children to enjoy their right to be safe, strong and free. She also facilitates spaces where victims can come broken and transition from survivor to advocate to champion. To date, she has trained 70 volunteers to work in a victim support network and a teens mentoring group, collaborating with the Dominican National Council of Women.
That's news. Stay tuned for your sports highlights with Kenny Williams.
First up in sports, West Indies captain Jason Holder credits their win against Papua New Guinea on Thursday to an all-round team performance. Although finishing 1 run short of a century, Holder says the game wasn't about him, but ensuring the team secured a comfortable win. On Thursday, West Indies went on to get their second straight win in the ICC World Cup qualifiers when they defeated PNG by 6 wickets with 42 balls remaining.
Yeah, unfortunately didn't get the 100, but I guess that's the way the game plays, It's just another opportunity. I guess it's around the corner for me to to make wrong things right in a sense, you know. But I'm not really setting the 100 per se. It was just trying to get the team over the line, you know. I felt I didn't want the game to go down to the 47th, maybe 48th or 50th over. You know, I wanted to kill the game, you know, way before that, you know. So I decided to push it on a little bit more at the end, you know, just to put them back under some pressure. And it worked out for me, and you know, I was glad to be there at the end. I thought Shea was outstanding, you know. Obviously carrying the niggle, you know, he's put his hand up. He was a champion today. You know, he probably didn't get the big score he was probably looking for, you know, but he played a part in this victory, you know. And not to forget, Carlos Braffett, you know, his spell was tremendous for us, you know, put us in this position. I felt his second spell was obviously a spell that changed the game for me. You know, he came back and got some very important wickets after the Papua New Guinea guys have built a pretty good partnership. So I was really pleased with him. You know, I thought the other guys supported well. You know, I think Nikita Miller was outstanding again. You know, we've been doing some pretty good things so far. So hopefully we can continue on.
Looking forward to Saturday's match against Ireland, a team that has gone undefeated in the tournament. Holder is convinced that game will test their strength. Ireland has the same number of wins as West Indies, but is first on point difference, while the Windies sit in second place.
Should be a really good clash, you know. It'll give us a gauge as to where we're at and where we need to be going. You know, obviously they beat us in 2015 in the World Cup, and we haven't played them since. You know, a washed out encounter last year in Belfast, unfortunately. So this is another good opportunity for us to make wrong things right from the 2015 World Cup. You know, it's still in the back of our minds. Nevertheless, most of the players who were in 2015 may not be here, but there's still a few faces around that had that experience in 2015. So I'm sure everybody should be pumped up and ready for this game.
In track and field, Dominica Grammar School dominated the 2018 Secondary Schools Athletics Championships in the male and female category on Friday. The point standing as of Friday's competition put DGS Boys on 194, followed by Isaiah Thomas Secondary 138 and Casa Bruce Secondary 99. DGS females amassed 175 points and CBSS 93, while Northeast Comprehensive and ITSS tied on 80 points. Meanwhile, Trinice Hamilton finished the competition with two records: the under-17 girls discus 32.72 meters and shot put in the same category 13.20. Neo Davis got the record in the boys 1,500 meters, clocking a time of 5 minutes flat. Joshua Sejean finished first in the under-15 boys high jump in a height of 1.04 meters, and Adisa James got the discus under-15 girls record. We will have more on the results of the 2018 Secondary Schools Athletics Championships in another sportscast. Moving on to football, where there have been some changes to the weekend fixtures. On Saturday, Trafalgar Football Club will be hoping to recover from their previous defeat when they come up against Bath State Football Club at 3 p.m. Previously, that game was scheduled for Sunday. And in a doubleheader on Sunday, ACS Tarish United will be looking for a third consecutive win when they go head-to-head with Gully Football Club at 2 p.m. That game will be followed by a clash between Promex Harlem United and Police Sports Club at 4 p.m. The weekend games will be the final round of preliminary matches in the DFA Flow Nations Cup. All games are scheduled to be played at Windsor Park Sports Stadium. Meantime, President of Dominica Amateur Athletics Association says the local governing body needs to keep up with the times. He pointed out that track and field in Dominica has been missing out on opportunities because of an outdated means of operation.
The constitution of the Dominica Amateur Athletics Association has been long overdue. Ratification has been long overdue. And as we move forward, we need to get certain things in place so that we can work directly to what our constitution heads for us. And many of the things that are in the constitution right now were for a long time ago. Now things have changed and new plans have come across. Also the International Athletics Federation, well, I should say it correctly, the International Association of Athletics Federation has since undergone an overhaul of their constitution, and there are a number of areas that has to be changed, and then that will affect Dominica in returns. So Dominica has to follow suit and get in line.
Dorset believes moving forward, a more collaboration between schools and clubs could have multiple benefits for the sport. He also stressed the need for more professionalism in the sport.
The constitution now would need to come in to show that Dominica is no longer an amateur country. All right. We also need to show that the association, in terms of the officers, serving in a committee should not be 2 years, which is very insignificant as to someone wanting to make an impact during their term in office, and should now be 4 years, a decision that I have already taken but needs to be included in the Constitution. The association in itself should more be responsible for the clubs. Nevertheless, I see the important for the clubs to be twinning with schools. So what would happen there is that the clubs would definitely have to go into the schools, organize their system, make the arrangement with the schools, so on what days they can come in to work with the school and to ensure that the school has proper teams for their competitions.
That's all the sporting highlights for now. I am Kenny Williams. Do have yourself an awesome weekend.
To end the news, the headlines again. Government formally launches the Climate Resilience Executing Agency of Dominica, CREED. Primary Healthcare Director says NCD test results from public servants are worrying. And Dominica becomes the third Caribbean country to sign on to the International Solar Agreement. Feel free to contact us at news@marpin2k4.com. You can also access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Andrea Louis, and to all of our viewers around the world, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful weekend.